Hey guys, it's Misty, athlete mental health coach and author of the Athlete Mental Health Playbook. So today I want to talk to the athletes out there who are highly sensitive people. So why is this such an important topic for athletes? Well, I'll give you a perfect example. Last week or a couple weeks ago, whenever it was, I posted something on Instagram. It was a blog that I wrote all about being a highly sensitive person. And the reason I did this is because I happen to be a very highly sensitive person. And there was a time in my life when I thought that being so sensitive meant that there was something wrong with me. And the reason I thought that is because there were a lot of people who didn't get that, right? So I'd get feedback when I was little of things like, there goes Misty crying again, stuff like that, right? And so I started to think, man, why am I so sensitive? Why can't I just suck it up? Why am I always crying? Why do I feel so much? And many years later, I figured out that there was such a thing called being a highly sensitive person. Now, if you're an athlete, you know that you are supposed to be tough. Maybe you even grew up in a house like mine where you were told, hey, toughen up, walk it off, suck it up, and along the lines in your peers, maybe you heard things like stop being soft, stop being weak, but you still had all these feelings, right? And so it just doesn't go away is the thing. It doesn't matter how often you try to suck it up or how hard you try to get rid of all those feelings and walk it off, if you will. It just doesn't happen that easily sometimes, right? So what does that mean for you if you are an athlete and you're also a highly sensitive person? Well, first, let's talk about what a highly sensitive person is, all right? So again, you might be in a sport where you're supposed to be tough all the time, and you might use the term man up, whatever it is that you might have heard over the years in the locker room from coaches, from teammates, from whoever, but maybe you're not quite feeling that. Maybe you're somebody who just feels a lot. Maybe you're somebody who can walk into a room and sense the energy. Maybe you can be around somebody and you pick up on their energy. The other day I was around somebody, here's a perfect example. I was around somebody, it was a very good friend of mine, and I was sitting with her and I left and I felt really sad, and I couldn't figure out, man, I just saw this friend, had a conversation with this friend that I haven't spoken with in so long. Why do I feel so sad? And I realized later that somebody close to her had passed and that she was in mourning. And so it felt like, man, I must have been absorbing sort of that energy from her. So that's one example, right? Maybe you're somebody who's really sensitive to, you feel like you have a lot of emotions, and those emotions might not just be sad, by the way. Maybe you get angry really easily. Maybe things just sort of tick you off and push your buttons on the turn of a dime, as they say. So that might be another indication that you're a highly sensitive person. Maybe you are somebody who cannot stand injustice. Maybe you can't stand cruelty. Maybe when things happen around you, you take it to heart and then you toss and turn at night because you can't sleep because of all this energy and this disruption that's going on. So those are just some signs that you might be a highly sensitive person. A lot of people are like this. Yes, there are plenty of athletes like this. Again, I have worked with athletes who have said to me, man, yeah, that was totally me. At my house, I would be like upset about something and feeling a lot, really in my feelings, and my parents or my family would be like, hey, like walk it off, suck it up, and whatever that might be, right? But it still doesn't mean that you don't feel these things. So here's the thing. So here are some other ways to know that you might be a highly sensitive person. All right, these are some other indications. All right, maybe you need a lot of quiet alone time. Right? Maybe you're somebody, there are people out there who they charge and they get their energy from being around a lot of people, right? And they draw energy from that. But then there's also people who need quiet, alone, downtime in order to recharge, right? And to me, I'm one of those people, I need that time to reset. So maybe you're somebody also who, excuse me, who, you might feel that you're exhausted when you're around people, even if you're just hanging out, right? You might just be like hanging out. Maybe you're just having a practice. Maybe you're having a practice meeting, whatever it might be. You're not really exerting any physical energy, but you're exhausted when you're done hanging out with people. That might be another sign, again, that you're absorbing energy. So these are things to look for. So here's the deal. What can you do about it? Well, I'm going to give you a few tips right now. Number one is set really clear boundaries. All right. And what I mean by that is if you know that being in a certain environment is going to drain your energy, then make sure that afterwards you do something to lighten the load for yourself, if you will, right? To kind of release that. Again, might be quiet alone time. It might be, okay, at the end of the day, I need 30 minutes by myself to clear my head and recharge, to be able to come back and to feel equal and balanced again, right? Another thing that you could do, so that's number one, being really clear about your boundaries and not really listening to anybody. It doesn't matter if anybody understands or not, being really clear about those boundaries and saying, hey, you know what, like actually I can't make it to this party tonight, because you know inside you that you need that alone time, all right? So that's number one. Number two is practice grounding and mindfulness to help you come back into the moment, and it sort of just feels like you're hitting reset and you're letting things go. All right, so practicing mindfulness and meaning being in the moment, really focusing on where you are, the energy of where you are right now, and grounding, which literally is what it sounds like, is just sort of like grounding. And instead of sort of being up here in your thoughts or in your emotions, you kind of come ground and steady and really just balance out, right? So you kind of like let go of all those emotions and those feelings that are happening. And there's a lot of techniques that you can use to do that. I'll give you some examples in just a moment. And number three is to, this kind of ties into number one, but be very specific about your self-care time. So the time that you need to take care of yourself, right? Make sure that you do that. So again, this is about setting boundaries, but it's also just making sure that those boundaries exist within yourself too, not just with other people, like, hey, you can't take my energy, but also I am not going to allow other people and other environments to suck up all my energy. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to take extra self-care. So maybe you're feeling really funky, being honest with yourself, recognizing that, and doing something to hit that reset button. All right, so those are the three ways that you can do some tips to help you through your highly sensitive day, right? These are just things that we have to do, and we have to learn, and we have to approach things differently as highly sensitive people. Even if you're meant to be super tough, right? And even if in the moment you can be on the field or on the court or wherever and really turn it on and be really tough, if you're highly sensitive, you're probably going to need to reset that, because if you don't, here's the thing, you know you're going to feel exhausted. You're probably not going to sleep well. You're going to have a lot of feelings. You might start to deal with things like depression or anxiety with all that bottled up emotion. You might question yourself, making it feel like there's something wrong with you, which again could get in your head and perhaps affect your game, but of course it can also affect your personal life. And then not sleeping well, being really moody, irritated, all these things that happen when you feel out of sorts. All right, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to head over to purposesoulathletics.com/resources. All right, this is my website. You're going to head over there and you're going to get all kinds of different resources that can help you through things like learning how to be more mindful, learning meditation practices, learning and reading up on being a highly sensitive person. There's a lot of material available there. Make sure that you go there. Check it out. You can opt into my free monthly newsletter or weekly newsletter, to get more resources at your fingertips every week. But there's a lot of stuff there for you. So again, that's purposesoulathletics.com/resources. Check it out and learn the tools to help you help yourself. All right, guys. Thanks again for being here. Again, I'm Misty Buck, mental health coach and author of the Athlete Mental Health Playbook.